Everyone, I really want to thank y'all for attending. Thanks for taking time out of your Tuesday night. I'm Amy Sharma from Science for Georgia. So I'm going to walk you a little bit through what Science for Georgia is, and then I'm going to tell you about our SciToberfest. And we're really excited to have it. And the big thing we're doing this year, aside from going online, which is pretty par for the course right now, is that we're going to have a pitch event. We want y'all to tell us what is important to the science community in Georgia. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about Science for Georgia. So we really believe that science and technology can solve the world's biggest problems, but first we've got to turn these findings and innovations into action. So we need to take the science and put it into the communities where they need it the most. And currently, as you can tell from our world situation, we're not doing a very good job, and public policymakers and the press are kind of, there's a barrier to entry between them and the science and technology community. So we can't implement our effective solutions if we're not talking to the public, and the same way around, if the public doesn't know what we're doing, then we can't really move forward. So our mission at Science for Georgia begins with active communication. We want to improve communication, we want to increase public engagement with science, and we want to advocate for the responsible use of science in public policy. Kind of a brief overview. So we started in 2018. We had we held the first March for Science in April 2017, and then we became an organization from the people that wanted to, once we put away the picket signs, like, what do we do next? How do we carry this momentum forward? So we were a 501c3 in 2018. We created our partner network about a year ago in 2019, and we had our first SciToberfest in October of 2019. A big thank you. We also hosted it with women in engineering from IEEE and Atlanta, or AWIS, so Association for Women in Science, the Georgia chapter. So that was really fun, and we had a lot of cool events planned this year, and then we're stuck inside, so now we're adapting. We really want to create a bridge between the public, policymakers, and the press and the scientific community. So our current programs are, we have science communication training. We do networking events like SciToberfest. We have a partner network that's growing. We have our monthly events of Science Tales and Trails and Atlanta Science Tavern. So thank you all for this special edition of Atlanta Science Tavern. And we joined AAAS in April. And so we're now part of their affiliate outreach and advocacy group called the Local Science Engagement Network. So this is really driving our advocacy forward. How do we advocate? So we did join AAAS in April. So we're really trying to turn science-based ideas into pragmatic solutions. We want to provide training on effective communication and effective advocacy outreach. And then we're also using their tool called Quorum. So therefore we can drive campaigns and we can solicit people to do letter writing campaigns or sign a petition or tweet about something, just kind of to generally provide a megaphone for the voice of the science and the Friends of Science community. So with this funding from them, we've created a big how-to library on how to advocate better. And we've also started to create issue analysis pages. Our focus this year is the environmental impacts on poverty. The environment is a tough, multifaceted thing, so we're trying to narrow it down on how it impacts the people who live in poverty. 1.2 million Georgians live in poverty, and we're working with this group called Break the Cycle of Health Disparities. And they have about 15 years of research on things that you can do to improve the environment that will improve people's lives and get them out of the cycle of poverty. And so we want to take what they've learned and we want to take ideas similar to this and bring it out to the public, right? Because it's really great if you learn that something as simple as taking your shoes off when you come inside every day can really increase your overall health. And that's neat, but if it only sits in a scientific or academic journal, then no one's life is really improved by that finding. And it's a very simple finding that could make all of our lives better. So we want to connect these findings with the people who can use them the most. This summer, we created a bunch of sample issue materials. So you can see here, we did something about beach stewardship. And so for every issue that we've chosen to advocate for, we create two things. We create three things. We create an advocacy page to kind of explain the issue, and then we create what we call take-homes. And one take-home is a thing that everyone can do. So for the beach, for example, a really simple thing you can do is use the right type of sunscreen, right? Some sunscreen chemicals are really harmful to you and the environment and to the coral reefs. And if you read about them, it's kind of scary what they do when they soak into your skin and what they do. And then you eat it in the fish that swim in the water and all of these things. But if you just switch to something as simple as zinc oxide, it would be way better for the environment and everything else. So this is a very simple switch that anyone on the street can make that makes a big impact for the environment and is also a good thing to do. At the same time, we also dug deeper into something that would affect the beach and needs more of like legislative weight behind it and advocacy weight, and that would be offshore drilling. So we put together a fact sheet on offshore drilling and the pros and cons. And since we are 501c3, we were very careful to just say, this is what offshore drilling does, and not, vote yes or no on it, but we just have to say this is what it is, and this is what the scientists say about the impacts of offshore drilling. And the fun fact that we learned here is that if we got all the available oil resources off the Georgia coast, it would add 1 day of oil to the entire world's demands. So that's a lot of environmental impact for literally 1 day of gas. So you kind of have to, that's a very big thing and a powerful message to send to anyone is we're going to do all this damage and we're going to get 1 day we're not fixing an energy problem by doing this. So this is kind of the stuff that we create around the issues that we choose to advocate for. Okay, so SciToberfest. Yay! We're really excited about it. Last year we held it in look, people, this is what it was like to interact with people and talk to them. Does everyone remember this? It was really nice. But we had a networking event. We talked around, we played Get to Know Me bingo. We featured a bunch of our partner organizations so they could tell about themselves. It was a really great event. So we're going to do it again this year, but it's going to be virtual. So I'd like to thank AWIS and IEEE for partnering with us again. I'm really excited. They were great partners last year and they did a great job getting the word out. And I met a lot of really interesting people through their networks. So that was really exciting. So we're going to do it virtual. So we've got a networking platform. It's actually really cool. Like you can go into the networking platform and there's going to be breakout rooms and like conference rooms, and it's like a conference almost. But it does allow us to have crowd control and moderators and things like that. So we're really excited about it and we hope all of you should come, and it's the bargain price of free and you get to attend in your pajamas. So that's like another bonus, right? Like how often can we now network in our pajamas? Like it's pretty awesome. So that's SciToberfest. We encourage you all to check it out. But the big thing that we're doing kind of in the middle is this pitch event. And so I just presented a few advocacy ideas that we've already worked for. But what we really want to do is showcase what Georgians care about and what the Georgia science and technology community cares about and what issues we think are important to advocate for, right? Because if we band together, all of our voices together will be very loud. And so, but we need to know, right? Like I can pick things that I really care about, and like our board can sit down and pick 5 things that are pretty good and I would say reasonable, but it's more important that we reflect the ideas of the community. And so we really need to know what y'all care about and how we can publicize your ideas at the same time. So we're going to have a pitch event during SciToberfest, and what's going to happen is people are going to come up. You're going to get like 2 minutes to present your idea, and then the community is going to vote on their top 2 ideas. So I'll give this a little bit more. So hold on, I'm going to give an example first because that makes it easier. So say you really cared about food waste and food insecurity, which are very coupled. So you've decided that we should advocate for solutions to this problem. So you come up with your problem statement, which is food waste and food insecurity are linked. And then tell us why it's a problem. Like 40% of food is actually never eaten, and millions of people go hungry every day. So it's the largest, also fun, it's the largest contributor of greenhouse gases that we as people produce, right? Us throwing away vegetables is really bad for the environment. And landfills are also located near low-income communities. This is like a trifecta, right? Like we're wasting all this food, we're contributing to greenhouse gases, and we're making low-income people's lives worse. But we need a pragmatic thing. So action number 1, you have to have 2 actions that you want the community to do. One is let's combat food waste by developing a bunch of pamphlets on how to not waste your food as well and distribute it at farmers markets and food banks and in school lunch bags and a bunch of other places. So that's your everyday action. And then action 2 is let's advocate for something at the legislative level, like that we can do overall in Georgia. And so there's a couple things you could pick, like double SNAP at farmers markets, right? This gets people to eat more fruits and vegetables. It supports local farmers. It's a good thing. Or say that curbside composting should be a thing as part of your regular trash pickup, like it is in California and a couple other states. So this would all reduce our food waste. So this is my idea for a thing that we should advocate for in 2021. So any group or any individual can advocate for something. So in order to submit, you have to come up with a 8.5 by 11 informational flyer that outlines your idea. We're going to display this on our website the week before the event. We need a 1080 by 1080 graphic for social media because that makes it easier. So we can like tweet about it. The only thing is the idea has to promote evidence-based science. If you're a little confused about, and it can't go against the Science for Georgia ethics statement. So if you're a little confused about what evidence-based science is, or if you think you fit into it, please let us know. It's got to have 2 actions, right? An all people action and then kind of an advocacy action. So you're going to have this 2-minute pitch. You're going to get up. It's going to be exciting. And then everybody's going to vote during the event and then the week after. So definitely include on the flyer problem, why it's a problem, solution, and the benefit. And so you have to propose, you also have to propose something people can do, like write a letter, make pamphlets and pass them out at their church group or things like that. You have to give people a physical task that they can do, not just tell your neighbors that throwing away food is bad, because like that's cool and all, but that's not really a thing. So we want to be very specific about a thing to do. So the details, what you get out of this is the top 2 ideas will get an issue page like I showed you on the Science for Georgia site. We will help you create that, like our interns and me will work on an actual materials. We'll have a dedicated social media month to that issue. We'll provide we'll help you plan stakeholder outreach. So we're going to dedicate approximately $1,000 to each of these events, right? So for 2 outreach events, which will probably be virtual, and for materials and supplies. All the other ideas will get to live on our website. So you get free advertising for your group. And then what you give is you got to join our Science for Georgia network, which is free to join, so you're not actually paying to perhaps receive a monetary prize, and approximately 8 hours working with Science for Georgia on the content development, because we need to work with you to make sure we're encapsulating the issue properly. And then what we also expect is that if we pick up your issue, we want you to also promote it to your network. So those are the details. And again, I'm just going to show you example issue materials, right? This is another one we created on food insecurity. So we want to have these as leave behinds, or things that people could send to their legislator and be like, I really support doubling SNAP benefits, and here's a great thing telling you why that's a great idea. So that's what we do. So this is where you can learn more. And that's it. So I would love questions or comments.